and welcome to Inside Nigeria, your favorite newspaper headline review show. My name is Tion Joseph, and in just about 5 minutes, I'll be reading to you major stories from 5 different Nigerian newspapers. And right after that, I will hand over to the studio for more details on the stories. Permit me to begin this morning with our leadership newspaper. On the front page of Leadership this morning, the lead story says, at Leadership Conference and Awards, Odinga, technology can be used to rig election. Heading down there, the first bullet says, credibility of election depends on INEC. Courts, says Osibanjo. Next bullet says, 2023 will be the best in nation's history. This is coming from Lawan. Next bullet says, delivering credible polls, challenge of the movement, Mrs. Nda Isaiah. We tackle drug menace frontally, Marwa declares. Leadership Award, inspiration for future accomplishments, says Orama. And lastly, I'll make NSCDC world class, says Audi. That is the report we have from the front page of Leadership newspaper. You can always find more stories on our website. You just need to hop onto www.leadership.ng and you will be served. Let's head straight to the Punch. And the lead story on the Punch this morning says, new Naira racketeering, EFCC to raid Lagos, Kaduna, Port Harcourt, currency hawkers. First bullet says, CBN bars multiple debit card withdrawals, threatens stiffer sanctions. The next bullet says, Emefiele meets reps, orders banks to accept old notes after deadline. And lastly, for the Punch, CBN stops old Naira payouts. Commotion persists in banks, ATM points. That's the report we have from the Punch. Now let's move straight to the next dailies we have. Look at daily assets. Accuses PDP others of fake news ahead elections. First bullet says INEC tax security agencies on peaceful polls. US group charges media on professional reportage. And lastly, Buhari orders tight security around borders. That's the report we have from the Daily Access. Now let's look at Standard Times. The lead story on the Standard Times this morning says, banks will accept old Naira notes after deadline, CBN assures. Now to conclude today's first part of the show, let's look at the Vanguard. And the lead story on the Vanguard this morning says, elections logistics in danger with fuel scarcity. This is coming from INEC. Thank you, viewers, for staying tuned for the first part of the show. I'll crave your indulgence to do the same for the second part of the show. My name is Tion Joseph. I'll be back your way 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Until then, do have a great day.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Good morning and welcome to the second segment of the show Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Ubeba. With me in the studio is our Wednesday guest, is public affairs analyst, a TV host, and a syndicated columnist, Jide Ojo. Jide Ojo, good morning. Welcome to this breakfast show.
Good morning, Winnie. Good morning, Abuja. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning to all those who are watching and listening to us. Happy new month of February 2020.
I forgot to say happy new month. All too soon, we are in February 1st.
All too soon,
Love
we are
month,
in
right?
February. Yeah, that's true. So,
Time
happy new
flies
month
so
to
soon.
everybody.
Time flies so fast.
For those who are enjoying like you.
Keep saying
There are
that.
some of us who want the December to come so that we can.
You don't know how
And we are
far.
counting down
You
to
don't
exit
judge.
of Buhari.
You don't judge a book by its cover.
We are counting
Okay, you
down
are
to
counting
mid
down.
29.
Everybody is expecting so much magic in this next administration. I hope the next administration will live up to the yearnings of many Nigerians just like you. Anyway, without much ado, we are reviewing and discussing some paper stories we have on our menu today and talking of leadership. Yesterday was the leadership's 14th annual conference awards ceremony, and it took place at the International Conference Center. Personalities from all walks of life were there to headline the event. Of course, we had the keynote speaker, the former Prime Minister of Kenya, Raila Odinga, who gave a speech on the forthcoming election. And Leadership newspaper is leading with it. At Leadership Conference Awards, Odinga, technology can be used to rig election. Technology can be used to rig election. The issue of Osun State that was actually cancelled, and the victory given to the second running of the former governor. Should I refer to him as former governor now?
No, he's still the
Oyetola.
governor.
Oyetola.
Okay,
It's still
yeah,
fresh.
former governor Oyetola,
Yes,
yes.
it's still fresh in the minds of Nigerians. And Odinga, obviously speaking to that, says technology can be used to rig election. Credibility of election depends on INEC, courts. Osinbajo, VP, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Yemi Osinbajo, SAN, was present yesterday at the event also. 2023 will be the best in nation's history. Senate President Lawan, delivering credible post challenge of the moment, Mrs. Nda Azaya, that is the chairman of Leadership Media Group. We will tackle drug menace frontally. Mawa declares the Person of the Year Award 2022. Leadership Award, Inspiration for Future Accomplishments, Orama. I'll make NSCDC world class, Audi. These are some of the headline stories on Leadership newspaper. You were there yesterday.
Yeah, from beginning to
So
the
what
end.
was some of your impression of the
Well,
award?
let me put on record my hearty felicitations
Yes.
with the leadership newspapers on the 14th edition of the annual conference and award ceremony held at International Conference Center, Abuja, yesterday, 31st of January 2023. It was a well-attended, very glamorous event, and event that can pull in the number 2 citizen,
Yes.
the Minister of FCT,
Yes, he was there.
the chairman of Nigeria Governors Forum, the immediate past, that's Governor Kayode Fayemi. And
We also had the royal father of the day.
Etsunupe was there, several other very, very important personality. Bank executives were there in good numbers. The private sectors, organized private, and even the youth. For me, the icing of the cake was that 13-year-old boy that was given an award for designing a flyover in Borno State.
Oh, yes.
And then there was
that, like the other one, the 30-year-old
that did the first electric car. First in Africa.
First in Africa. I was so impressed.
30-year-old, and you could see, these are future leaders.
Yeah.
I thank leadership newspaper for fishing these people. For me, these bank executives that are all glitz and glamour doesn't really make it for me, because it's just about competition to outdo each other. But when you look at that 13-year-old boy, the first to be presented with the award, and then that 30-year-old boy from, I think it's also from Borno, who designed the first electric car for Nigeria, and it's functional. He has a number of buses. I've read about it.
Yes.
He has a number of buses plying routes in Maiduguri.
It's not just that one alone.
Yes, it's not just designing. He has converted many petrol engine vehicles to electric cars.
Wow.
So I've read about the guy,
And you know what makes me happy, when the MC described him as the Elon Musk of
Nigeria. He said, it's Africa.
He actually brought said that.
Yes,
he said no, it's Africa.
It's self-belief. He believes in himself and his ability.
I know, it's so impressive.
And then, you know, these are people, and then they also worthy of that award was General Obama.
Oh yes.
When the statistics was reeled out, it was eye-popping. 500 billion recovered from drug lords, 32 drug barons arrested, about 6,000.
I remember in one of their halls at the haste of these drug barons, the president was outside the country. You even had to congratulate him from
there.
Yes.
So it's like the NDLA never had a former chairman.
You only need somebody that will just come, a catalyst to change the system.
It really has catalyzed NDLA in the last 2 years.
Yes.
I've done 2 articles to commend him, even in my column in the Punch.
Did you get the opportunity to join this?
No, it's PRO does it, Femi Babafemi. And I believe he possibly will bring it to his attention. But more importantly is what Raila Odinga said yesterday.
Yes, that's what I want you to speak to, because you are an expert on his INEC stuff.
Exactly. You know, in the podcast we had from there yesterday, I spoke to this issue. Technology is a two-edged sword. It's not necessarily a silver bullet. Raila Odinga only spoke to what happened last year. I recall in that same Kenya in 2017, desperate politicians first killed the IEBC director of ICT. Few days to election, they killed him and his girlfriend, who was in his car with him. Nobody till today knew who killed him. Then the Supreme Court of Kenya nullified that election on the basis of disparity between the manually collated result and the one that was posted online. And this is also coming to us, the Osun election, which I wrote about in my column in the Punch today, about the overvoting allegation where the number of voters surpassed that of accredited. And Section 51 sub 2 said where that is established is cancellation. How come we now have in 744 polling units this kind of padded votes? Because, see, people have been reacting in different ways to my article in Punch of today. Some who are sympathetic to APC, to PDP, felt it's a miscarriage of justice. But I don't believe so. Yes, I don't believe so, because if you read Section 51 sub 2, it says, look, first Section 53 subsection 2 of Electoral 2010 says overvoting is
2010 or 2022?
2010. Says overvoting is determined by the number of registered voters. Then it is the number of registered voters. So, Winifred, if there are 500 voters registered, and even if there are only 50 that were accredited, you can claim that you use incident form to accredit others. So you can do mass thumbprint to meet 500.
Yes, that was what was.
In as much as it's not 501, there's no overvoting. But now Section 51 sub 2 is saying
electoral
of the electoral 2022, not amended. The new electoral act is saying, look, your overvoting is determined not by number of registered voters again.
No,
it's by number of accredited voters. And how is it open and closed? See, INEC has said, and that's why I also went to talk about what INEC chairman said BVAS would do. BVAS does three things. BVAS is used as INEC voter enrollment device to register voters. It's also used for accreditation and authentication of voters. Then it's used to transmit election results. So now, coming of BVAS has eliminated the use of incident form. So you cannot say when this person's name was on the register, but because his fingerprint could not be captured, his face could not be captured, so you now use incident form. There is no such.
Yes.
So it is
which is a
plus. And what the Electoral Act now said in Section 64 is that results, when you bring results, as a collation officer, you need to check the BVAS accreditation number of accredited people to know that it tallies with the number of voters that is reflected in the EC8A form, which is the polling unit result. So when there is discrepancy, the collation officer has power to reject. So 2 layers of integrity test was undermined.
But how come it's only Adeleke that was affected? What about the Oyetolas?
The two of them were affected because when the tribunal what tribunal simply did was to nullify the result of the 744 polling unit. So Adeleke lost vote, Oyetola lost vote. The only reason is that because this supposed fraud or rigging took place in the stronghold of Adeleke, like Ede North, Ede South, Egbedore, Olorunda, Oshogbo, local government. These are his stronghold. And other people are known from time to be very politically aware.
Yes.
They have high voting population. But you see, in the 10 local government where the APC council or team, legal team, attacked, they were able to prove that the numbers in the BVAS is different from as total. You know, when you talk of total accredited voter, it means that at the end of the voting, when you had all the result of all the contestants together, it should not exceed the number of accredited. So you now have situations where 4 votes, 1 vote, 30 votes, 50 votes, 100 votes were higher than what was accredited.
Wow.
And the law says
there was a mistake. When is BVAS that was used?
No, it was BVAS that it was when they reviewed the result or the number of accredited voters in the BVAS that they were able to establish the discrepancy. Do you get? But you see,
but whose fault is this now? Is it not the BVAS?
It's not BVAS. It's INEC officials. Yes, it's INEC, and this is a wake-up duty to INEC as a commission. You are getting these presiding officers from youth service, from federal tertiary institutions. Are they well trained as to the legal provision? What does the law say in terms of overvoting? You cannot say somebody who did, because somebody has conducted an election in Osun in 2018. The election of 2018 was done under a different law. The election of 2022 is under a different law. So if you are just aware, I'm a veteran. When we did it in 2018, it's number of registered voters. So even if you want to pad the result, just make sure it doesn't go beyond the total number of registered voters. No. Now, it's no longer number of registered voters. It's no longer number of PVC collected.
Yes.
It's the number of accredited, which means that even if a polling unit has 1,000 voters and 600 people collected their PVC, and only 350 were accredited. The number at the end of the day, when you add all the result of the contestants, as well as the invalid vote and rejected ballot, they must not be more than the number of accredited.
Wow. That means his legal team really knew their job very well, that they could actually go for the jugular.
You think APC is playing? Lateef Fagbemi that led the team of APC is one of the most respected electoral experts, legal experts. Next to Olanipekun, Wole Olanipekun. These are people that you pay hundreds of millions to engage. You get what I'm saying? These are people who, all the victories of APC, ACN, go and check who has been the lead in their legal team. Even the days of Aregbesola versus Oyinlola, these are the same people who helped Aregbesola to rescue, to get his victory from Oyinlola there in 2010. These are, see, Jagaban will not spare any resources. Any resources. If you try to rig him out.
He was the one that also supported Oshomole then.
It's not only Oshomole. He supported Ralph Aregbesola. Supported Olusegun Mimiko.
Yes.
Who was even then in Labour Party to recover his mandate. Everywhere he supported even Fayemi to get his.
Denied it that he was one.
No. Mimiko cannot deny that Jagaban supported him.
When he was in Abuja coming to Labour Party.
That one could be political speak. But at least we know in Ekiti, he assisted Fayemi to recover his mandate. These are the reasons why we have staggered the election today. Lateef Fagbemi
is a professional.
Are you kidding me? 50 lawyers, about 10 of them senior advocates. Oh, you think that you don't know what you are dealing with? No, I have the report. I have the result. Well, they have read. I perused the report of the two the minority and the majority. You understand? The Lateef Fagbemi that team were very thorough. They did a graph of, they did a table of all the 744 polling units and where overvoting was established and by how many votes. And when they brought the assistant of deputy director of ICT to come and testify, she agreed that the word she used was there was seeming overvoting, at least in 6 polling units. And she agreed on witness. This is a witness that, look, in this one, there seems to be overvoting by about 300 and something votes. There seems to be. These are all content. People who are commenting on this have never read the report or the judgment of the court, which was made available on social media that same day. In the evening of Friday, it has been circulated. I took pains. Not that I read it in total, but I read the relevant sections. I saw the whole argument that was pleaded, and I can say for certainty, I'm not.
So, whose fault will you blame? Is it the beavers now or just a human error?
It wasn't human error.
It was beavers.
It was. It was not beavers. It was human-induced error. Let me tell you. Wait, Winifred. Let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you. See, when people believe it's business as usual, this is what usually happens. In 2015, recall what happened in Rivers State, where INEC officials were induced not to use smart card reader, and they majorly used incident form.
Yes.
So it was deliberate.
Incident form has been the bane.
Exactly. In 2015, in 2019, in 2019, INEC said there will be no incident form. But if smart card reader cannot capture your fingerprint, you will be allowed to vote, but they will take your phone number and your address by the side of the register. That is still like incident form.
It is.
So it is only in this era of beavers that no incident form of any sort. Because INEC chairman said, look, when you come, 3 things will be done.
But what I'm still finding hard to believe today is, how did those undervoted, the ones that were not accredited, how did they find themselves in that beavers capturing?
They didn't even vote. It was just added.
But how we do? That means the beavers can be manipulated.
The beavers was not manipulated.
Then
If beavers was manipulated.
Remember, before you can vote, you have to thumbprint, either by thumbprinting, biometric, or facial recognition.
Winifred, can I explain to you how this works? When you come to the polling unit, the APO will collect your PVC, permanent voters card, scan it to ensure that this PVC belongs to INEC, was issued by INEC. Number 1. 2, you will be asked to put your fingers for authentication, your 10 fingers. If it cannot authenticate, they will use it to scan your face, your iris.
Yes.
If it cannot, they will use your QR code. There is a QR code for every name. They will use it to call up your details. Those 3, if you fail any of them, you are not allowed to vote. And beavers will say unsuccessful accreditation. You will not be taken as a successfully accredited. So the beavers will record number of female. You understand? So what the law is saying is that it can be less. It cannot be more. Because once it's more by 1 vote, it's overvoting. And there are 2 grounds for nullification of polling unit result under the Electoral 2022. Violence and overvoting. Once there is a violence, proven violence in a polling unit, you nullify the result of that polling unit. If there is no violence, if there is overvoting, according to section 51 sub 2 of the Electoral 2022, it is cancellation.
Yes, sorry, I want to take you back a little. You were explaining that how you get accredited, that once it's not captured within these 3 factors you pointed out,
yes,
you'll be declared unsuccessful.
Yes,
so how did names now find themselves?
No. You see, this is what I suspected happened.
Good.
Because it was the stronghold of the PDP candidate. His loyalists may have induced the presiding officer to do them favor by adding
although you cannot
not names. You are not adding names. Figure.
Okay.
You just say, this is for you. And then it's 250. Just say 300 people voted. What they didn't know is that beavers has an inbuilt mechanism that already has taken stock of the number of successfully accredited people. And that is part of the electoral integrity quotient of this. It says when before the commencement of poll, you as a voter and polling agent and candidate have right to see that the beavers was on 0000. That means nothing has been previously inputted on the beavers. So that it starts from number 1. I hope I'm communicating. So now, unless the PDP can prove that there was no overvoting.
And how can we do that when it has already reflected that?
Well, I don't know what they will go and canvass at the appellate court, but what I know from what I read and that provision, you see, what they have also, and I was very, very comprehensive in my legal analysis in this column. I talked about section 47 sub 2. Section 47 subsection 2 was what gave INEC the legal teeth, legal backing to use the smart card reader or any other technological devices. It gave the commission that power. Then section 51 sub 2 says, overvoting occurs where the number of accredited voters is less than the number of voters. So if you have higher number of voters than the number accredited, that means there is overvoting. Yes. And it says in that same sentence that the result of such polling unit should be cancelled. Then there is also section 64 of the Electoral Act, subsection 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which says that when result of a polling unit is brought to you, as a collation officer, you are supposed to cross-check the number of accredited voters vis-a-vis the number of voters in the EC8A form. EC8A form is the recording of the scores and the polling unit result of that polling unit. So EC8A, if you see that the total number of votes recorded in EC8A form is more than the number of accredited voters when you check the beavers, then you should cancel. But obviously, those who were saddled with that responsibility of collating and returning did not bother to cross-check. Because the assumption is that after all, this result has been transmitted to INEC result being important. But that is why we have section 64, subsection 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, which says that when there is issue of dispute, the result of the beavers is the one that is authentic. That means you use the beavers result to resolve the issue. So if there is a dispute, maybe some party or polling agent are contesting. Somebody is asking me on here and saying, okay, after all, the party agent signed the result. Whether you sign or not sign the result does not validate or invalidate the result. Even if none of the polling agents sign the result, it does not invalidate the result. And if somebody, and we have seen this in time past, don't forget that in some instances, some desperate politicians will even go and print badges for members of the opposition to give it credibility. Is their member, they will go. Once they know that this party did not deploy agents, this one does not deploy it, you just see them strolling in and say, I'm representing Labour Party in this unit. What is your name? They will just write. So when it is time to sign, because they know the main opposition who lost will not sign. This other one, who is their member, but who they have given the tag of a different party, you will just say, bring the result. It's God that makes leader. Let me sign. But you will not know it's their member.
It's a member.
That is why INEC, in contemporary times, INEC has insisted that all polling agents must, the names and address of all polling agents must be submitted to it prior to the election, and they will not print badges, customized badges for them with their names and their picture. But these people will still not comply.
No, we are still on this technology stuff. You know, INEC also alleged recent times that there have been several attempts made
on the server.
And of course, we also saw what happened in the US election between
Russia and the US.
Exactly.
Fingering Russian hackers.
It's also beginning to send shivers down our spine. If they could do that in US.
Definitely, Winifred. Like I said yesterday at the leadership conference, I said the greatest fear I have now is not even attack on INEC facility, offline attack. No, that one doesn't bother me, because from what I read in the Punch, the Nigerian police has been given 64 billion for election security.
No, we are talking about servers.
No, wait, I'm coming. Okay. So they can contain that. The civil defense can contain that. They are the one responsible for protection of critical assets. Yes. But cyber attack, that one is the most worrisome.
That is my worry.
Because already, if you read the papers, there are insinuations. I don't know how far that is true. They even said the NX chairman allegedly said there have been several cyber attacks on their facility in recent past.
Yes.
And it happened in 2019. And when you remember the confession of Cambridge Analytica of UK that says in 2015 they were paid by a major opposition candidate to hack and manipulate the result of that 2015 presidential election. You know what we are talking about. There are fears that as we speak, some foreign hackers are in Nigeria already quartered in hotel to hack into the databases of INEC in order to discredit this
election. And I
election.
even saw a report that they even said they should open the beavers. They want to study the beavers and see how it works.
I don't know.
Probably to see if they can clone it.
I don't know whether that is. So a lot is happening. So the greatest challenge I'm having is about cybersecurity of INEC. And the Punch newspaper of December 15, 2022 said INEC budgeted 117 billion to fortify all its cyber facilities, from database to portal to internet to website. All it's that 117 billion was budgeted in this election. So we can only hope and pray that the hackers will not succeed, because I know the juggernauts that are contesting this election.
You know that also came up during that 2019 tribunal, when Atiku alleged that
the result he has is different from the one INEC. And now that's what Raila Odinga was saying yesterday.
They saw the results.
You understand? Raila Odinga, preceded by that professor of law from the US, who is a Kenya, was the first to allege that a whistleblower came out last week in Kenya to admit that they rigged Raila Odinga out, that Odinga won the presidential by 2.5 million votes. It was said, it was open garden yesterday, and I took note of that. I've forgotten, if you have a copy of the agenda, that professor that spoke before Raila Odinga was brought on the podium. He said that a whistleblower came, but it's missing after that. This whistleblower should have come out during the election dispute resolution in the Supreme Court in that 2 weeks. That would have made sense. But now talking almost 6 months after the election, and the Supreme Court had already given a verdict. So there's nothing you can do. But like Raila Odinga said yesterday, this has a chance of making the citizens to lose faith in the electoral process in Kenya.
Even what also happened in the Osun State, we saw.
And now what has happened in Osun? How can INEC claim to be having two results? They say one is Beavers result, one is synchronized Beavers result. You are supposed to have one. And if peradventure, because I've also heard or read that my respected Mr. Uzi said what APC legacy had is incomplete result. I don't understand why they will accept incomplete result to go to tribunal. I don't think so. Because how does incomplete result come? How will you have incomplete result? What was transmitted from polling unit to the INEC resolving portal is the EC8A form, which is already filled. It's not even the data. I don't know whether you get me. It's not data that will be sent to the portal. It's use like I'm using my phone to do live streaming now. Is this same form I will use to take picture of the EC8A form and transmit to a dedicated portal, which is called INEC Result Viewing Portal. And then anybody across the globe who sign on through his email or her email can log in to that portal to see the result and download. So how will you be talking of incomplete result? It's a full result that is already, if it is transmitted to the data, to the portal, it's a complete result of that polling unit.
Perhaps the legal team of
Adeleke
need to also
of course,
find loopholes.
Of course, that's the whole essence of having an appellate court, and this is just one stage. There are still two stages. Somebody was saying is Adeleke now ex-governor? No, he's not ex-governor. He has filed a stay of execution and then appeal. So until another 60 days at the Court of Appeal, another 60 days at the Apex Court before we know the final of that Osun election.
This election act is really good because giving the
it's a game changer. Which is why when people are attacking the beavers, some have gone to court to ask INEC not to use beavers. Why? Anymore. Some they went to court. This one that was being hunted all over the place. Okay. And I was on AIT, Democracy Today with Ijoma Osamo that day. And she gave me printed copy of the court process that some people have gone to file in an Owerri High Court challenging the use of beavers. And I said, this is something that is backed by law. Section 47 sub 2. So why would anybody go to court to say INEC must? Do they even know how much INEC has sunk into procurement of these beavers? Billions. These are not materials made in Alabama. It's not made in Abuja. These are customized devices that were done, that were manufactured in abroad and brought into Nigeria. So why would anybody say they should not use it?
Even if in relation to that, one of INEC's contractors is Mohammed, the former candidate from Niger that was vying for the position of APC chairman. He's also one of the contractors that supplied these beavers.
The beavers.
Incidentally, at the National Assembly, was among those that were opposing the use of electric.
I don't even know who are the contractors anyway, but whatever it is, we need to shine our eyes. So the use of technology is a double-edged sword.
And Vanguard also has similar story on it. It said elections logistics in danger with fuel scarcity, INEC. Elections logistics in danger with fuel scarcity, INEC. That is Vanguard. Let me read the rider. The rider says we are mobilizing about 100,000 vehicles, 4,000 boats for deployment of personnel and materials to 176,846 polling units spread across 8,809 registration areas in 774 local government areas nationwide. Yakubu. NNPC assures electoral body of adequate supply. Things will change before polls, Tinubu spokesperson. INEC should double-check transport unions, Labour Party. We are hoping it will be brought under control, PDP campaign.
Now, this is not a very good optics for Nigeria ahead of the election.
No, it's not at all.
That Nigerians are struggling and suffering to even buy fuel at a very exorbitant price.
It's not.
If you see how happy I was yesterday when I got fuel from the NNPC at Zone 4, I was smiling to myself as if I was giving for free. No, it was like they gave me for free.
Protest in Edo State.
Because I didn't have to queue for more than 20-30 minutes.
Okay.
And just imagine, queue. I still have to queue. Not that I drove in and bought. But the fact that I was because when I was coming out of the house, I was apprehensive. The little fuel in my car.
Is this statement that was created to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the APC presidential candidate? In fact, I've actually brought myself as his spokesman to explain what he meant by that. Because when Nigerians just felt that, he just wants, it's all about him, I said, no. What he implied, I think through my guest analyst, Majid, actually put me through that. What he was saying, he just didn't make his thoughts so coherent, was that with this fuel scarcity and Naira redesign, which will further compound Nigeria's rules, it will impact
negatively on his candidacy.
That's what
that is the truth.
They didn't explain it very well. I'm very happy that
those who are saying is
that because he has billions at home. That he has billions at home, he cannot go and change his money. That is why that this is because it's him. I said no.
Listen,
what he meant was that it's his party that is in power.
If Tinubu needs 1 billion naira today of the new money, he will get it.
That's what I tell people.
1 billion today, he will get it.
These are
high network individuals.
We saw what happened in 2019. Bullion Van came to his house.
Yes.
Did Bullion Van? Is it not from the banks? Is it the owner of the Bullion Van? I said no. This is what
these are people who have shares
his
in all
party
this.
has not been able to rein in this.
Rein in this first scarcity.
Him as the candidate.
How will it not affect you?
I went out to explain to Nigeria. This is what he actually meant.
Let me tell you, the sentiments on the street of Abuja today is, if election is held there today, you can be rest assured that APC will not win
Yes.
in Abuja. You know that. The sentiments that has been expressed
everywhere.
on social media, and it's dangerous.
Yes.
Because by section 134 of the Constitution, sub 2, for you to be declared winner of an election, you not only need majority of lawful vote cast, you also need 25% in at least 2/3 of Nigeria and FCT. So even if you have majority of vote cast, you have 25% in 24 out of 36 states, and you fail to have 25% in FCT, you cannot be declared winner.
And ironically, most government in power, they are never won in their election. You know, they don't.
They have always lost Abuja. Even Buhari lost Abuja.
2019.
So you can see that
2019.
Tinubu is.
It was something that happened to Jonathan
Tinubu
in
is.
2015.
Jonathan lost his polling unit, lost his ward now in FCT.
Yes.
No, what that is that is like that. When I went to Uganda in 2016, strongman Yoweri Museveni lost Kampala, lost election in Kampala. Kisie, his former doctor, turned his main challenger, then won in Kampala, which is the federal capital territory in Uganda. It's always like that across the globe. The bottom line is this: it's not a good optics for APC that 25 days to election, people are queuing for fuel, people do not have naira, people have had to buy naira.
But like I always explain, is it fuel scarcity has become synonymous with election period in Nigeria?
No, not necessarily. I'm not sure it's happened
this
in
one has
2019.
lingered so long.
This one since January 24, 2022, we've been battling with it.
Now.
Do you know that anytime I'm able to drive in and buy fuel, I smile.
I do a sign of the cross.
You see, you do a sign of cross. Thank God, though, today. At least I was. You know what happened to? I share it on my Facebook wall. On Friday. Yeah, no, wait now. No, Saturday. It was on Saturday. The last card, the last little resource on me, 10,000. I used POS to collect it. The POS, this last Saturday, the POS lady gave me old naira note. Since I wanted to buy fuel, black market. In fact, that was why I decided to use the POS. Because if it were to be fuel station, I would use POS. I will use POS. But because of these boys, they don't have POS machine. So I said, it's better I get cash. So, you know, I didn't know that the lady was going to give me old naira note. So I now collected 10,000. Then let me buy fuel now. The boy said, after we negotiated to 3,400 per 10 liters. He now said, okay, I hope you are paying me with new naira note. I said, no, he said he's not come to collecting old naira note. I look at myself, I said, which can we get I enter now? I said that was not enough. I shared my experience on my Facebook wall. I said that was not enough. The following day, and I took this old naira note, went to supermarket in my area. I picked a couple of items. Now let me pay. As I brought the old naira note, the buyer at the counter said, "Oh God, we not they collect old naira note again. Yeah, you have to make transfer." And I have no money to transfer. That was how I was humiliated out of. It's humiliation now, because everybody that was queuing was looking at me and saying, "Look at this one, still they carry old naira note." They didn't know that was all I have left on me. So at the end of the day, I just dropped those items with him at the counter and walked majestically and humbly out of the store. It was later that Sunday afternoon that news came that Emefiele has extended to February 10th. But did you know that naira note, I didn't get to spend it until yesterday at NNPC.
But you had fear.
I was afraid now. And when I now queued.
No, when it was my turn. Rejected, but you still had fear in your car.
No, I had little fuel. Okay, so I came to town yesterday. So when I saw that the queue wasn't much at that NNPC fuel station, I now joined the queue. So when it was my turn, I didn't even bother bringing out the naira note, whether it's old or new. I said to myself, if you reject, you cannot siphon the fuel in my car. I will wait for you. and I will make a mess. I will make a scene. I will create a scene so that police will even come and say, see, economic saboteur. They have extended. So after the guy has served me, I've already counted the amount. I just gave to him. He didn't say anything. I said, thank God. I said, thank God. At least I've been able to spend this. But I promised myself I will never receive all that I know till this thing. So, but you can just see the excruciating pains that Nigerians are going through, all in the name of change of money. For me, Buhari is not doing this to help his party. It's like, I've won, yes. I'm on my way out, anything can happen. Because he did this in 1984. But he did it in 1984 when he newly came to power, not when he's leaving. Now, look at it. Everybody is talking about Aship. Somebody, a friend of mine from Ibadan, posted on his Facebook wall yesterday. Don't beat him, because the anger in the land now. You can kill your child.
The people that was training, they were beating one guy, fighting him in the first station. They said the guy said vote APC. I got of them fainted the anger.
So you can see that is why Asiwaju is shouting office, political, and
of course, I also read the columnist Farouk. He also said that yes, he actually had it on good authority that there's a cabal too.
Yes.
Do not in that same APC
do you have to be told? No, do you have to be told? Remember on the eve of the primary.
Right.
No, on the eve of the party primary, did Abdullahi Adamu, the chairman of APC, not come out to address the WW's National Working Committee to say the president said the preferred candidate is the president of the Senate, which is Dr. Ahmed Lawa. Did the presidency debunk it? It was the governors forum, APC governors forum, that went and prevailed on the president to say, no, power must be allowed to shift to the south. And obviously, now, the northerners have a candidate in Atiku or Kwakwanso. So they can actually be orchestrating all of this for the purpose of making power to stay in the north. Because otherwise, how do you explain on the eve of election, 3 weeks to election, a ruling party cannot resolve with 6 trillion in 2022 subsidizing fuel.
And yet the fuel is
me and you were buying 300, 400 naira per liter in Abuja.
Yes, and it's not available.
Now, in 2023 budget, they said they've put 3.3 trillion, not for 6 months. Still, there's scarcity. So, what more would you want to conclude beyond sabotage? So, there is no gainsaying the fact that because we play politics of ethnicity and religion, some people may actually want power to stay in the north.
And you want to be our candidate, we'll see how far you go.
Exactly. So, because Naira, okay, look at it. Emefiele came out with this Naira redesign. Since when? October. They said, bring your Naira, keep it in the safe. On December 15, you can collect new Naira note. Until this January.
Banks were still dispensing. Even in January, banks were still dispensing.
I said until last week.
Yes.
ATM was still dispensing all Naira notes.
Yes, I was collecting all.
So what are we talking about? If that is not saboteur, on the eve of election, the reason why Buhari suspended the full implementation of PIA, Petroleum Industry Act, was because of election of 2023. Because by the provision of PIA, there should have been what is called the regulation of PMS. So it should have been selling like diesel, like kerosene, like aviation jet. But because they want to keep the price low ahead of election, they now extended the implementation of that provision by 18 months, so that the 18 months will now last by June 2023. Now, in spite of that, you can still not make it available. People are still killed. When should I be celebrating that I queue for 30 minutes to buy fuel? As in, not even driving. And look at the number of fuel stations in FCT alone. Many of them, 3/4 of them, don't have product to sell.
And even in Benin that they were protesting, you have a fuel depot at Ore.
Are you telling me?
Yeah,
did you know that somebody, as I was driving to town this morning, somebody said in Wari, they are selling PMS for 600 naira per liter.
Worry.
As in Wari, this morning on Classic FM, I was coming to town, I was listening to Classic. A caller called to say that in Wari, they are buying a liter of fuel for 600 naira per liter. So those of us who are buying it 350 at in black market, they said you are even paying half of what we in Wari are paying. And there is a government, there is a president who is the minister of petroleum resources. What are we talking about?
It's really, really unfortunate. But we've got to the end of today's Inside Nigeria. We really had so much time to speak on this forthcoming election and on leadership newspapers conference on
see people queuing at ATM,
how technology can be used to rig election. Well, from Jide Ojo.
It's good. It's good morning. I don't even know how to say that.
I look forward to seeing you same time.
Amen. No, may God spare our life and keep us safe till next week. And please, if you have not collected your PVC, you still have till February 5. No, I'm talking to our viewers. They still have till February 5. INEC has extended till February.
And many people are alleging that it's deliberate. INEC is just announcing, but when you get there, I see videos of those that were injured.
I saw a video of somebody who is asking people who wants to collect to pay 1,000 transportation.
So INEC should address issues. At least you have access to
in Enugu.
Tell INEC to address these issues.
No, we all have access to INEC.
On your way again tomorrow. Winifred, we'll see you. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.